I've included a powerful guided meditation that can help you heal the mother wound, and if you want, you can skip ahead to it, but I encourage you to listen all the way through. There was a boy once, Jason. From the outside, his childhood looked ordinary, but inside his home, there was a quiet storm that shaped every corner of his life. Jason's mother carried her own wounds, scars left by a father who never gave her the love she craved. She grew up unseen, unappreciated, always feeling like she was never enough. That silent ache hardened into anger, and when she grew older, she reflected that anger onto Jason's father, and then, eventually, onto Jason himself. She couldn't see him as the innocent child he was. Instead, she carried her pain forward like a shadow. Jason grew up with a mother who was physically present, but emotionally distant. She ignored him when he needed her most. She dismissed his tears, misunderstood his needs, and filled his little heart with the same message she had carried all her life, that love was conditional and that he was somehow never good enough. That became Jason's silent truth. The world taught him to feel small before he ever learned how to stand tall. And as he grew older, he carried this unspoken wound with him. In school, he felt invisible. Among friends, he often felt like he had to earn his place. And when he became a man, the same pattern repeated, especially in love. Jason chased women who reminded him of his mother, always trying to earn their approval, always feeling like if he just did more, maybe he'd finally be seen. His marriage eventually crumbled under this invisible weight. He wasn't a bad husband, he wasn't careless, but deep down he was still that boy trying to prove himself worthy of love, and no amount of effort could fill a wound that had been carved so deeply in childhood. Now here's the thing, Jason's story is not just Jason's story, it's a story of countless men and women who carry the invisible mark of the mother wound. And in this video, I want to give you not just understanding but a way to begin releasing that weight. And when we begin the meditation, I want you to remember this. You can pause at any time. You can repeat it whenever emotions rise. Whatever comes up for you, sadness, anger, fear, don't push it away. Now, I want you to take a deep breath and settle in. Close your eyes and let your body relax. Let yourself feel safe in this moment. I want you to know that everything you feel right now is valid. Every tear, every flicker of anger, every bit of sadness or fear is a part of you that has been held back for far too long. You don't need to suppress any of it. You've been carrying these emotions for decades, hiding them, holding them in, trying to be strong when you didn't feel seen. But now, you can let it all out. Imagine yourself in a place that you know, a place that feels familiar to your heart, a park, a school, your childhood home, any place where memories of your younger self are alive. Let yourself feel connected to this place, to the sights, the sounds, the smells, the energy of being there. Let it envelop you. Now in this place, imagine two sides. On one side, you are standing there with your child self. Picture him clearly, holding his hand. This is the little boy you once were. The innocent, tender, imperfect, perfectly human child who needed love and didn't always receive it. And on the other side, imagine all the women who have ever rejected you, betrayed you, ignored you, or made you feel like you were not enough. They could be female friends, teachers, colleagues, classmates, or anyone who, in your life, made you feel unseen or diminished. And then there is your mother. She is standing among them, on the side of all the women who have made you feel less than, who have looked at you and made you doubt yourself. In her eyes, you can feel a mixture of emotions, disapproval, distance, perhaps confusion, all of them standing there, hanging around in a group, looking at you with a sense of judgment, as if they are asking your mother with their eyes, "Why is he like this? Why is he so incomplete? Why is he so strange?" And she says to them with disappointment in her voice, perhaps even disgust, "She does not defend you. She does not see you. She simply joins them in their unspoken judgment. She says, 'I don't know. He's always been this way.'" Your child self knows the truth. He knows exactly what made him this way, and it was never his fault. His mother's own pain, her anger, and her wounds shaped the way she saw him, and in turn shaped how he felt about himself. Now, your child self speaks. He says, "I had a friend whose mother made him feel like he was the coolest person alive. But for me, I always had to be obedient. I had to be perfect. I had to fit in. I was never loved for just being me. I never felt like a man. My mother never saw me as a man. All the time I felt imperfect, a child with flaws. Why am I not enough for her? Why, even though I am her own child, am I never good enough? How can a child have flaws? A child is born innocent, whole and happy, giggling and filled with life. How can a being made by God himself have flaws? Feel all the emotion rising in you as you hear these words. Let yourself really sense the injustice, the sadness, the confusion, the longing. And now turn your attention to all the women in your life who made you feel less than, incomplete, or not like a man. You look at them directly and ask them, "Why did you see me this way? Why did you reject me? Why was I never enough?" They say one by one, "Because your mother never looked at you as enough. She never believed in your worth, and we saw you through her eyes. She did not see you as competent, as strong, as whole. And because of that, neither did we. It's because you were never enough for your mother. That's why." If you want, you can pause the video and take a moment to imagine every one of them who treated you this way, if you need to. Your female friends, teachers, colleagues, that teacher from kindergarten. Anyone who ever contributed to that feeling. You can pause any time and bring to mind any women who have left this imprint on your heart. Ask them, "Why did I never feel good enough?" And hear the truth, because your mother never looked at you like a man. She never believed in your competence. She saw you as less than, while other boys your age were always enough, always praised, always seen. And there you were, a lonely child, distant from your mother's love and affection, searching for something you never deserved to feel missing. A warmth, an acceptance, a recognition of your inherent worth. Now, take your child self in your arms, hold him close, feel his small body, his trembling heart, his pain, and promise him that from this moment on, you will give him all the love that he never received. He was always innocent. It was never his fault. But somehow, he has carried the punishment of a wound that was never his to bear. Let yourself feel the sorrow, the rage, the grief for all the years he carried this burden. Let your tears flow if they need to. Let your anger surface if it wants to. Let your fear and sadness rise. Nothing is too much. Nothing is too heavy. Now imagine yourself as your older self at your last moments. See from his perspective you are older now, older, reflecting on your life, seeing yourself at your current age and realizing that the only thing you ever truly wanted was love. But for your entire life, you blamed yourself. But now, you forgive yourself for being so hard on yourself. See your child self, your present self, and your older self all together. Let them meet, let them hug, let them recognize the journey you've been on, the pain, the longing, the attempts to please, the mistakes, the grief, the loneliness. Let yourself forgive yourself for being so hard on yourself all these years. Let yourself acknowledge that the only thing you ever truly wanted was love, unconditional love, and that you blamed yourself for not receiving what was never your fault to begin with. Hold this embrace. Let the emotions flow. Cry if you need to. Scream silently in your mind if you must. Let the tears, the anger, the sadness, the fear, all come out. This is the release you have been waiting for. This is the healing that begins the moment you allow yourself to fully feel. Now gently open your eyes if you're ready, and if you have emotions and hurt still bubbling up to the surface, pause the video and cry. Let out all the emotions that you never allowed yourself to feel. Let them out until nothing is left. And watch this video again whenever you get triggered and emotions come up, whenever you feel less. This is the mother wound, and you have let out years of emotions that you have stuffed, but it doesn't end here. Think of these emotions like a tissue box. You let out one, but another emotional tissue will pop up, and you have to let all those tissues out until the emotional tissue box is emptied. The tissue will only come to the surface when you get triggered, and since this is for the mother wound, the tissue will pop up again whenever you feel not enough in the context of women. If you want to fasten this process, talk with more women and be real without a mask, and let the triggered emotions come up. Then you can let those out through this meditation. I will soon upload a video on the father wound, and a similar process will apply. By doing these two meditations over and over, you will let go of all the emotions and hurt for both men and women. And slowly, little by little, your relationships will become better and better toward both men and women, and you will have a much fuller, happier life. As you come back from the meditation, feel the stillness around you. Notice the space you've created for yourself, the space where your emotions were finally allowed to exist, where your pain, your anger, your grief, and your longing could all be held without judgment. This is not just a meditation, it is a declaration to yourself that your feelings matter, that your inner child deserves to be seen, heard, and loved. For years, perhaps decades, you have carried this weight silently. You may have blamed yourself, wondered if you were too much or not enough, but now, in this quiet moment, you can begin to recognize the truth. None of it was your fault. Healing the mother wound is not about erasing the past. It is not about making excuses for those who hurt you, or pretending the pain never existed. It is about reclaiming the love you were denied, about giving to yourself what was always meant to be given by another. That love begins with acknowledgement, acknowledging that the hurt is real, that the longing is real, that the gap between what you deserved and what you received shaped so much of your life. And once acknowledged, it can begin to transform. Think of the boy you were, the child holding on to hope, clinging to your mother's attention, dreaming of approval that never came. See him now as a survivor. See him as resilient. Every tear you allowed to fall during this meditation, every breath you took to let anger and sadness pass through you, was a step toward reclaiming yourself. You are not broken. You are whole, even with your scars. The wound does not define you. It teaches you. It teaches you how to recognize love, how to seek connection, and ultimately how to provide that love to yourself and others in ways your childhood could not. And as you reflect, notice the patterns that this wound created. Perhaps you chased approval in relationships. Perhaps you feared vulnerability. Perhaps you doubted your worth. These are not signs of weakness. They are signs of survival, evidence that you learned to navigate the world with the tools you had. But now, you have the power to change those patterns. You can interact with life differently, to respond from understanding instead of fear, to meet yourself and others with compassion instead of expectation. Remember, this process is ongoing. Emotional release is not a single event. It is a journey. There will be moments when old wounds resurface, when you feel the sting of rejection or inadequacy. That is normal. Let it come. Let it rise. And when it does, return to this meditation. Return to the practice of holding yourself and your inner child, and let the cycle of healing continue. With every repetition, the wound loses some of its grip. With every session, the hurt becomes a little lighter, the self a little stronger, and the love a little deeper. One day, you will notice a shift. Relationships will feel less like tests and more like partnerships. You will engage with women, friends, colleagues, and even family from a place of security and authenticity, not fear or longing. And most importantly, you will finally see yourself as you always were, worthy of love, worthy of care, worthy simply because you exist. Healing the mother wound is the beginning of understanding yourself, of honoring your past without being trapped by it, and of stepping into a life where love, connection, and acceptance are no longer distant dreams, but living, breathing realities. You have begun this journey today, and that is enough. That first step, though small, carries immense power. Thank you for allowing yourself this time, for being brave enough to feel, and for being ready to give yourself the love that you have always deserved.